house. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Who are you calling pops? I'm gonna call pops.
We're recording you.
No. It's okay. I'm just your neighbor. Coming by to say howdy.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we're not used to people stopping by to say howdy without assaulting us first, robbing us, or defecating on our lawn.
Sometimes all three.
The trifecta. We're from Los Angeles.
Just moved to Texas.
I figured.
Oh, the California plates?
Well, yeah, and the masks. Inside your own house. No one else around. 2022.
We just want to be extra safe.
We feel naked without masks.
We'll probably wear them for the rest of our lives.
We'll be buried in them.
Okay. Well, you seem like a lovely couple. Like I said, I just wanted to drop by and welcome you to the neighborhood.
Why? Do you want something?
Oh, no. I think he's being friendly. People around here are friendly, like we've seen in the movies, right?
I thought that was just make-believe, like superheroes or families that go to church.
No, that's a myth. This is real life.
So, I live in that house over yonder. Name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Tiffany, she, her.
And I'm Steve, he, him.
What are your pronouns?
I don't believe in pronouns. I think they're reductive. In fact, just your asking about it is a microaggression.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I'm just messing with you. I like all pronouns. My favorite is you.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Exactly. So, if you need anything, just holler. My wife and I'd be happy to help.
Baby, he has a gun.
I'm calling the cops.
I'm recording you.
No.
Recording
It's
you.
okay.
All right, has anyone noticed this trend among some of our government experts lately? It starts off with them telling you a thing. If you question the thing, you will be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. It then turns out later that the thing that they told you wasn't quite as true as they promised you it would be. And when you point this out, they revert to telling you that, well, they never told you the thing that they told you. And then when you show them incontrovertible proof that they did in fact tell you the thing that they told you, they just suggest that you should be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. I can't imagine why we don't trust these guys.
Hey y'all, what's going on? Hey Lisa, hey Shift. People don't know who this is, so ain't nobody gonna come in here. Same one I did all the hurricane stuff on. See, somebody's pinging me. Yeah, Bonnie's messaging me. Messenger, tell her I'm live over here. I didn't pump this. I was like, what, there are like 120 subs on here, so who knows who's on and how many will see it. They make all the fun with it, don't they? Anybody else live out there? Let me see, Bonnie beeping again. Let me get a link and send it to Bonnie if she's wondering where I'm at. She's like, now? Drop this on her. You guys doing all right? Thanks, Shiv. I don't know how well it'll do or whatever. We'll see how it works. There's three of us here. I don't know if I'm considered that one of the three. I don't know if you guys have seen anybody else live or not. I ain't on my other one looking. Sharing it out. Hey, Carl. Hey, Homestead.
Sup, Chuck? I heard you.
Yeah, I got smacked again.
So this number 3.
It's number 2. 2 weeks. And again, it was vague as it could be. Hey, Diana.
Yeah, this is increasing, Chuck.
Don't give me a reason. They give me it for community guidelines. And then in the thing, you know how that does when they hit you, it shows up and you look at what it is, and then it put my whole 4 hour and 55-minute video on there. Like, it's somewhere in here. They don't even got a reason. They're just being an ass.
It ain't just you. They're coming down on people harder. I'm sure of it, and not just this platform.
Prepping them, God, again, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bima. Yeah, prepping, and I think Z-Man, I don't know if he lost his channel or if they just hit him.
I don't know. Hey, Shift Kicker, Country 101.
Hey,
Everybody else in there. Hey, Benji.
Benjamin, you mind me calling you Ben? I ain't never asked that, so I'm making sure.
I don't think he cares, man. He lets me call him Benji.
I like how that was my uncle's middle name, William Benjamin, and my grandfather was William Claude.
I just like the old TV show Benji.
Yeah.
Plus, he always brings us coffee and donuts and stuff.
That sounds awesome. Donut. Cream filled ones I used to get up at this other place. They had them in Cleveland or chocolate. Hey, Bonnie.
Hey.
That's where I'm going to have to get them now, is from the bakeries only, because I read the dang packaging and now I can't buy any store-bought donuts.
Yeah, they're probably made with cricket flour.
And it's pretty bad out there, Chuck. Don't read the ingredients unless you're prepared.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's wild. But anyway, we're all gonna have to watch, and I guess everybody in here that mods for you, we're gonna have to be funny with chat. They didn't give me a reason, so it could have been a comment in the chat.
So we can't say words we don't even know.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, Cindy. That's stupid, ain't it?
Okay.
So how are you, Chuck? Hi, Bonnie.
There's some people I know on here that have been doing it for years, and the lady, she's our age. She's like 57, 58. And they were giving her shit because she's keeps up with her body. She's always in a bikini on her, and she's built to where I guess most 20 and 30-year-olds would get mad over. But they ended up, her last strike was they were somewhere and somebody rode by in a car and they made the music out what it was and gave her a copyright, which finished it all.
You know, the first couple videos I ever did, I had Deep Purple in the background. And you couldn't really, I mean, I didn't think nothing of it. And those videos were up for a couple months before I found out people couldn't even see them. They gave me, I didn't know they gave me a strike where it could, what I did see is when I posted them, they said, in some countries, this won't be viewed because of the music. I was like, okay, I don't care as long as it's this country, and posted them anyways. Well, they didn't tell me that it wasn't going to be viewed in this country or any countries because nobody can see those videos but me.
Yeah, that's stupid, ain't it? Hey, Dorinda.
It is.
Yeah, the last one they gave me, they said it couldn't be seen in some countries. And it was from, was it from the UK or no, Japan maybe? I don't know. But so I think it's only that country. I can't remember what they said. But it's when I played that girl doing opera to AC/DC.
It's just ridiculous. These people, he's got like 100,000 subs, but she had like 600,000 or 700,000. So you know YouTube was making buku money off her,
Yeah.
and they did that to her. That tells you they don't
Hey,
care.
Anna,
Their objective is
Dorinda, Cindy, Joyful. Damn, boy, they're rolling in here now, Chuck.
I'm glad you're
How
saying
many-
all that. Hi,
I can't
everybody.
see how many's watching. How many you got in here on this channel right now?
says 14.
Yeah, that's what I see.
So apparently I was subbed to this one, but have you used it much?
Now this is the same one I did the hurricane stuff with. That's the only time I ever used it.
I'll put it on my community page.
I'd be on my best behavior if I knew how, Chuck.
This was Twisted, but I changed that since there's somebody running around here with a close name to that. I don't want people to get confused.
Well, people are already confused.
Y'all remember how to talk gibberish? You
Yeah.
know what?
Up to it. Talk pig glass.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
There you go.
We need to start talking like Russell Gould does.
Yeah, I just watched or started to watch something he just did.
I watched the one he put out a couple days ago.
Yep. Ugh. You know,
Last-
some of what he says about, you know, the military basically went to war against that guy. They incarcerated him. And all of that, that's verifiable stuff. That really happened, Chuck.
Yep. They about beat his partner to death. That's why he turned traitor. He went through it all. He said they did him all the stuff they do to get people to talk.
That's another example of what's happening right now where, you know, they're not recognizing the rights of individuals.
He said he'd been waterboarded. He'd been beat to an inch of his life.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
He wouldn't comply with him. One of the things, and I remember this way back, he's repeated it again, but he was locked up one time and he proceeded to not eat, took all their prison clothes off and threw them out the room and sit there in the middle of his cell naked. He wouldn't comply with them.
He wouldn't eat too, I think.
Yep. Didn't eat, didn't bathe.
Remember that movie?
Non-compliant.
Remember that movie with the Golden Child?
Is that
Golden
the Eddie
Child.
Murphy movie?
Do what?
The Eddie Murphy movie, little boy that glued into glue and
Yes.
shit. Yeah.
They kept trying to get him to eat the red oatmeal.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
That's the name of a Golden Child. Look, get a chance, look it up. It might be a freebie on YouTube. Ain't nothing free.
We just got some story I can't look at flashed across my screen about Saudi Arabia. Breaking news. Anybody else know what that was?
Uh, I can look real quick. Let me.
I read an article last night, very disturbing, from um, survivors in the crane.
From what?
Survivors in the crane.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of conflicting of everything that we're hearing. Both sides.
Well, the very first I went on panel, I spoke my mind about that when this all started over there. And all I could say is the people on the ground who were living there when this started, their stories were completely different than the narrative.
Yep. And another thing, I couldn't go to sleep, and I came across this channel, and I can't even remember what it was called, and I don't know how it came up on my what to view. And it was
Wasn't a lone reporter going all around there by himself, was it?
no, this was just a channel. There were 4 women on there talking, and the language they were using and the topic they were talking about, and I was just shocked. And over 500 viewers.
Troll train. What's up, Lily?
Yeah.
And so the point is, it's amazing for me.
Hold on.
It's just amazing what people will go watch. It's like,
You're being censored.
Yeah,
that's
Kevin
okay.
Nash, the wrestler, his son, 26 years old, died cardiac arrest. He had a seizure and sudden cardiac arrest.
Oh my goodness.
Sudden death. Huh?
Yep.
Gee, I wonder what that was about.
Well, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the timing for that new one right there. That's something.
Yeah. All these 30-year-olds, 20 and 30-year-olds are this new syndrome.
And just in case you couldn't hear me over the trains, Wolverines, John. Watch that be a trigger word now.
Oh, there it is.
Wow, that's timing is what that is.
Yeah, somebody's in here.
No, unless it's someone from Tennessee.
Excuse me.
Hey, Ridge Runner. Lee, anybody else new that came in? Hey, sex bot, you want attention, you got it. Hey, John, I didn't see you slip in. I was looking for other stuff, seeing if I could find anything about that Bonnie was talking about. I see where Mr. Poutini's talking about UKR in the final stage of creating a dirty thing.
I saw where a whistleblower on from the other side came out ratting on the on the cheating process.
Oh, wow.
One of their own is turned on them.
I think there's going to be more. They're having a lot of skirmishes. Maybe that word's okay.
You put a bunch of snakes in a pit together, they'll start biting each other.
Yep. That's why I put on the title on there, Get in the Pit and Try to Love Someone. Granted, that's off the song.
There's got to be a scapegoat, you know. They'll throw somebody under the bus without even thinking about it, save their own hide. I mean, I'm talking about liars in general, from my experiences, of course.
Officials are warning residents of Hawaii's Big Island that the world's largest active volcano, Mauna Loa, is sending signals that it may erupt. All these others have been popping, so bad thing about that, all them people live on one or around it.
Yeah.
Were you talking about Saudi earlier? What was you talking about, Bonnie?
Yeah, there's a guy I watch on here called ANN News, and I think it was his notice. I just can't click on nothing while I'm on a panel. His stuff is usually short and sweet.
Vlad?
Yep.
Yeah, I watched that earlier. So it's probably... Yeah.
Hey, remember when I was on your panel or on panel with you and said that I just got a notice that you went live?
Yes.
It was a notice saying that you had just posted a video, and it was of the Texas hill country. So it was what, like 2 hours after you posted it, it's all of a sudden going to tell me you just posted it.
Yeah, they want everybody to see stuff.
See, and I emailed that article to me because I didn't know where to send it because it was like so disturbing. I was like, I don't want this. I don't want anybody else to read this. And it disappeared out of my email.
That's like all them things I wanted to show you that disappeared. All them we were talking about. I was trying to pull up that one night.
Yep.
Well, now on my computer, over the years, let's say about 6 or 7 years, I had saved a whole lot of relevant information. And I'd say somewhere around 50% of those links have vanished over that period of time.
Yeah.
Wow. Americans are skipping meals because they can't afford food.
I can't even afford to be alive. This is ridiculous.
Do you see Ridge Runner?
It's
God save the children.
How are they getting away with this?
Wow, 19,000 border agents, 175,000 IRS agents.
You mean total?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. The difference is in border agents versus IRS.
Sure,
They
why not?
more people in the bank than they got protecting the bank.
Yeah, what Rich Runner just said. That's how.
What exactly in this country is designed to help the American people anymore?
Nothing. Like this right here says it all. If politicians arm Ukraine because they're allies, what's the implication when they disarm their own citizens?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's. You would think that would be what everyone was doing, Chef. There's no way. If I had a kid, there's no way I'd want that kid in school. You know, in any school right now. No way.
That's what I keep begging my daughter. Please let me homeschool.
And I would. There's no way I would let my kid go Halloween trick or treating this year. No way.
Oh,
Here's some words for y'all. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize.
everyone but a patriot.
Did you see where PayPal sneakily redid the $2,500 fine for anybody who doesn't who's buys something patriotic?
There's a fine for that now.
Yeah, they announced it a couple of weeks ago. People were adamantly against it. They retracted their plans and then sneakily did it anyway. That's what I saw in the news today.
Wow.
Got somebody else. I think you're echoing, Chuck.
Let me check.
I thought I heard a beep.
Mip, zorp, bip, squawk.
It's muted over here.
For someone backstage.
No.
No. Okay.
Hey, Brew.
True, Brew. Well, that's what I ended up doing with the two younger girls. I'd work at night, and so the older kids could watch the younger ones. Of course, they'd sneak them up to parties and stuff, and I'd have to go on a knocking heads together moment, but there's ways to work around that.
Yep.
To be able to homeschool. Or you can even do it in the evenings. That's the good thing about homeschooling. There's not a set time.
Well, if families stuck together and people respected their elders like they used to, they'd have some teachers at home that could spend time with the children.
Yes.
I think that's the way it was supposed to be, they were supposed to pass that wisdom down. The war on the nuclear family unit has been pretty successful.
Yeah,
in fact, I think it's
Carl, that you're
kind of.
Carl, I see your popular governor joining Morning Joe.
I heard she's going to lose, which is strange to hear this far ahead of time. I don't know, Chuck. I've seen so much evidence that they're already cheating that I just don't know what to believe until it happens.
Yeah, it seems to be already set.
They're pulling some tactics. They're turning people in for watching the ballot boxes. You know,
Yes.
there was strangely a mail truck got burned with reportedly thousands of papers in it. There's been some.
Wow.
I must have seen something like 25 news stories on that subject in just the last few days.
Yeah, I've heard about people watching and people sitting guarding them. And, you know, they should be protected like that.
Yeah.
If those are that safe to be out in the middle of nowhere and whoever can do whatever they want, then you ought to be able to drop money in them too.
I heard somebody, I think it was a Dem in Pennsylvania, saying, "Don't expect the results that night. This is going to take time."
Yeah, I heard that too. Just like 20. That's why I keep saying if there's any way to track your vote. I've heard that people can track their vote.
I seen Mike Lindell did that. He tracked my vote. In fact, he said our county was likely flipped.
But I've seen a way where you can do it yourself personally. Because people were saying that
Well,
somehow they
wouldn't
knew.
they have?
Well, somehow they knew that a deceased relative had voted. So there's got to
Oh,
be
I think you're talking about the ballot, the mail-in paper requests. Because if you could actually track what you did, that would imply that the machines were connected to the internet.
Well, yeah. Yes, yes, and yes.
Eggs, bacon, and sausage.
Well, I saw a video of a guy who went up to it and showed how in 5 minutes he could
Hack
change
it.
his
I saw that.
recipe.
I've seen a couple things like that, in fact, but I know which one you're talking about.
So,
Yeah, just everybody forget what happened a couple of years ago and let's just move on, you know?
no,
It's getting to me. It really is.
Yeah, what these
just
people
like
don't
I'm not
realize.
saying
These
what.
people don't realize the more people they shush up, sooner or later, they're going to be the ones being shushed up too. Don't ask for presents that you don't want to get yourself.
Treat me as you'd like to be treated. Please don't anger me. Show me just one shred of kindness.
Kind of makes sense. Like people out there now hating people because of their skin color because there used to be hatred towards another skin color. It's like, that sounds logical.
That sounds like my ex-husband. I'd be all,
You
why are you
know,
not? And he said,
I'm
because you are. And I said, does that make any sense at all? My mad is valid. Yours isn't not.
You know, I consider myself pretty well traveled, and most of the assholes I've met on this rock were white, just like me.
That's the bad thing about it. I don't know which is worse: the ones that call people a racist while they're being one, or the ones that are guilty because they think that they're doing right by being racist.
I don't get it either. It's just a skin pigment. It's pretty stupid if you ask me. And I don't see the issues. What I see is them inflating the issues. Like they're using that to try to create a bigger divide. And the reason I say that is like when I worked downtown Pontiac, I worked in an upholstery shop all summer long. And I was the only white guy I saw that entire summer there. All right. Not a single, nobody my complexion that whole summer. And I got along with everybody great. I mean, never had one problem.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. This has all been hammered into them somehow to cause a divide. That's all it is. It has been planned, and
It is. And they're playing on people's political correctness and feelings. I mean, imagine if there was a white entertainment television channel.
Yep. I don't have anything to do, and I try to distance myself away from anything that has to do with a certain ethnicity. If it has something to do with a certain religion, has something to do with a certain sex, it's like, okay, that's all things that split up. Say, okay, now it's like you must be a black female receptionist to come here, or carpenter, or any other thing. How come? Okay, let's go to another extent. Let's add whether you buy or own a house or rent a house, or let's add if you live in an apartment or that. So that there's all these other categories we can split even more, I guess.
yeah.
Well, you see it happening daily, even in the news. You know, they're always trying to irritate that. You know, whether it's like, okay, let's talk about the popes. You know, now there's going to be a division between the pure bloods and those who aren't. You know, and they'll use that narrative to try to widen that divide. Divided we fall.
Absolutely. And they know that.
Yeah, I made Vicky look at me and just kind of gave her mouth open one time. She's like saying something about hating people because of their skin color. I said, no, I hate everybody equally. Which I don't hate anybody, but I'm just joking said that.
Hate is corrosive.
Yeah, especially when you don't know why. It's kind of like you being judged and people don't even know who you are. People out there crying about needing shoes until they see somebody that don't have feet.
That's it too, you know. Shit, as bad as life gets, I know it can always get worse. You know, I don't know if you've ever read the book Job, but nobody's ever had it worse than Job. You know, there's
True. Suffered to the limits. Well, so did Jesus.
There's a lot of people that complain about a lot of stuff and how their life is. And I said, well, at least you don't have no sick children or anything like that. Things can always be worse.
It can be. And often people make it worse themselves.
But
I
see,
saw some statistic years ago that said that something like 80% of everything you worry about never comes true anyway.
Well, that's true. My doctor just told me that today. What would you say before that?
Me?
Oh,
Carl?
I don't know. What did I say?
I had a comeback for that.
I wasn't listening.
Ah. Quit nuking our brains.
I don't know, and I tried to imagine if they took the old guy and they tightened his skin and like cut some out in the back and stitched it all back together so his face was really tight on his skull. And I kind of can see it sometimes, but other times it doesn't look nothing like him.
yeah, he's a fake potato, like somebody said out there. He's made from cricket flour.
Sometimes it looks like they stretched his face over his skull to me. I swear.
Looks like Beavis came to life off of Beavis and Butthead. That or the Banjo Kid off Deliverance.
I saw that comparison.
I don't know why Beetlejuice just crossed my mind.
Because of the Chicago mayor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mrs. Lightfoot.
Yeah, could you imagine rolling over?
Did you?
Kiss that good
There-
morning?
I'll tell you what, there's something for you to look up, Chuck, is the before and after of Mrs. Lightfoot. She
Yeah.
did not look like that long ago. I mean, because the picture I saw of her where she looked normal, she was already an adult, so it couldn't have been that long ago. It's like one of those before and after, this is what meth does things.
Yeah. Looked like she spent about 8 months out in the gutters smoking up everything she could get.
Did you find it?
Now, I've seen it before. I didn't look it up. I guess I could put it up there, but that might get everybody bounced. Let's see.
Right on, Tennessee. Drunk. Nope.
Some of the faces on them people is good for birth control.
How many times has Potato just outright claimed bullshit lies? I mean, be talking at some place and just make up a history that's total bullshit. Because I've seen that reported several times now.
Yep, a lot.
Yeah, them bag black eyes on that she's got. Looks like she's been on something.
That's a major difference in what a person looks like. I mean, I've seen the before and afters of like presidents. There's a collage of those photos, like all of them, what they look like before they took office and after they left office. But there's something else at play there with those. It is something. There's something wrong there.
I love the way everybody has their top people named with a character.
Found one picture, trying to find a better one. I'm gonna pop it up there.
I can't think of her first name.
When Joe passed them pipes around for everybody, she must have got the ones that were loaded.
You know, and I'm not one of somebody's appearance, but what I'm pointing out is there is something wrong. Maybe it's a medical condition or something. She's malnutrited or something.
That can change your looks.
Or the photo comparison I saw was bullshit because it looked like a person versus Beetlejuice.
I found a picture I'll put up here.
Chuck, I went to my doctor today, and he had on a Western shirt. Remember those with the flap on the back that came down like from the shoulders down to about mid-back?
Yeah.
And it was a Texas flag. He was walking away from me, and I said, "Hey, I like your shirt."
Did that show up?
Yeah, that's the same pictures, but they showed a close up of the after. But she used to look normal.
Yeah, she didn't used to be as scary looking. That's
But
what I could find. It was so small that
yeah, and it looks like she's a lot younger in the other too.
Stress kills too.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of that's age, though.
No, it has probably something to do with selling your soul to the devil. Oh, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that. But I swear I could see demons in Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Everything you ever see her on when she starts talking looks like they just pulled her out of electroshock therapy.
She looks freaky nowadays too. Actually, too.
That's for a raise.
I actually do keep a couple of pairs of clothes, and I got one of those blue jean Western shirts. The snaps, because I like those.
Yeah.
Hey, Deb.
Deb's Moss.
See, a raise. That's what I said last night. To people like that, there's never enough money, no matter how much they're getting, and never enough power.
don't know if you guys saw it where 101 started a 101 Q&A. Gonna be a lot stricter on it and stuff. I guess they got him again too.
Yeah.
I think I heard him say there's not even going to be a chat or something, or if it doesn't go good, he's going to remove the chat.
Well, how's he going to do a Q&A without somebody to ask the question?
It won't be a Q&A no more, will it?
He put a thing out. Let me see if I can find it. That he wants anybody to a mod for him to let him know. So to put on here that they're a mod, so he can get them set up for that one.
I already subbed to that. I seen it earlier today. I heard him talking about it too. Gonna say Country 101. Sometimes if you shut down and stir back up, it'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's talking about the title of this, getting a pit and try to love someone, love pit.
Oh, that's right.
Ba with a ba.
Did you see my title?
Yeah.
I did. I forget what it was now. Hold on.
I misspelled son on purpose.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't gonna somebody over it, though. I figured it might have been for a reason.
Now I got the other one ringing in my head. We the people
David.
deserve the right to say, fuck you. What's up, David Ann?
Hey, David. Don't you come sing? Anna Marie. NC Debs. Benji.
Did you ever hear a song by Ted Nugent called Kiss My Ass, where he calls out Hillary and all that?
No.
That is a great song.
I used to get notifications from him. He does a one night a week something. I quit getting notifications from Snafu too. Maybe I'm subbed to too many people with the black bell on it. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was trying to say the other day is if you're subbed to hundreds of people and you click all their bells, you're still not going to see them. I think the more you sub to, the less you're going to see.
You talking about Ted Nugent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky's aunt used to date him back in the 70s. He'd come to holiday functions and stuff, and all the kids would trip out.
He was the in the Big Brother program for a buddy of mine I was in the juvie with back in the 70s.
Your aunt what? Oh, it was her aunt by marriage's brother.
I have
And
to
I've seen him like 20 times in concert, but I've never met him, even though I stood right next to him at a store. And by the time I got to the counter, just as he walked away, and the guy behind the counter said, "Hey, you know who that was?" I said, and I looked and I seen Ted Nugent going out the door. I was that close.
Wow.
I've been doing store in Jackson, you know. But on the other hand, I met Fred Bear several times.
Well, Ted Nugent looks a lot healthier, older than he did back in the day.
Back in his loincloth days, are you talking when he was skinny?
Yes.
He was a wild man. he would jump off of the stacks. I saw him drive a Blazer up onto the stage. I saw him ride a Buffalo up on the stage. I've seen him
Yeah.
shoot his bow. All kinds of stuff. He's a showman.
Yes. At least he didn't eat a rat or a bat or whatever it was.
I don't even know the truth of that story anymore. I've heard so many versions of it. I think I even heard Ozzy's version of it, and I don't remember. Something like it wasn't even bad.
But they made
I thought it was a
big thing.
dove. I thought one of the doves flew up, and he ended up doing it on a dare or something. I don't remember. I heard him tell it once, but
I don't know. Didn't Meatloaf do something crazy like that too?
I don't know. One of the most famous albums out there by Ted Nugent was Free For All. The whole album is really good. I mean, it's got the song Free For All on it. It's all Dog Eat Dog. Several songs that made it to the radio, but very few people realize that Meatloaf sang the second side of that album because Derek St. Holmes and Ted Nugent had a disagreement.
Yeah, you talking about Kenny Wayne Shepherd's song "Blue on Black"? Yeah, I met that piece of shit where he did his band dirty. They were all together through school and stuff like that, and the whole band. And
I do like that song.
he got a shot, but he had to leave the rest of his group, and he dumped them quick. Turned on Lifetime Friends.
MC Dubs, apparently I was born in the same ward as Alice Cooper was born in, Pontiac, Michigan. I met Alice Cooper too. I met a bunch of bands in the back with backstage passes.
My sons listen to Five Fingered.
It's a good band.
Yeah.
I like hard rock, so I like those bands and those songs.
Yeah, I used to do sound for concerts and help set up stages for them and all that, and I ended up getting into sound. And I met a lot of guys, and some of them are just ridiculously stupid. Like, I think it was the lead singer for one might have been Godsmack. Anyway, that guy, the singer's got little man syndrome so bad. He's a piece of shit.
And I was probably not paying attention as much because I probably came right from the bar. Ted Nugent used to get pulled over in Oxford, Michigan. Him and Bob Seger used to get pulled over in Oxford, Michigan all the time. Having a mom that was a cop for 20 years there, I know for sure it was always speeding and blowing through red lights and stuff. Like they didn't have any regard for anybody else on those highways in the middle of the night. They just flew. I even said, I've talked to Ted Nugent several times in his chats and his lives and stuff. I think he knows who I am as much as we talk. But I asked him about that once. I said, hey, how many times you been pulled over in Michigan? And he went silent.
So do they have cows in New York?
Huh?
Probably. Do they have cows in New York? NC Debs.
Yeah. Northern, the most of New York. All right, when people say New York, they think of the city New York. They think of the whole thing like that. Northern New York is beautiful. It's mountainous. They have all kind. They can have any kind of farm up there they want too.
Oh, okay. Well, I know the Adirondacks, but I thought it was mostly national forest. It wasn't because of New York City. It's because of the location and because I thought that it was mostly nationally owned.
Well, that might be by now too, but all the good stuff, even here in Michigan, the Pierre Marquette National Forest, That's thousands of acres that the state owns. You know,
Yeah.
both in the upper and lower part of Michigan.
Hey,
It's the only
Gigi.
place you'll see virgin white pine trees in Michigan. Because in the 1800s, they leveled them. What's up, GD?
Yeah, I'm fixing to do a trip, and I'll do a video of it to that Cross Mountain I was talking about. And wish I would have got a picture of the longhorn I saw yesterday. He was awesome.
Those are apparently hard to sneak up on.
It it depends. It's like there's maybe mixes of longhorns because I've seen them where they're really scrawny looking kinda and shorter horns, and those you don't get near. But
Well, every time I see somebody get one on camera, they're already looking at the guy. Like they've already seen you.
oh yeah, they're very aware. They really like the cedar trees, getting up under them, and but then there's some that are really big. And the one that I wanted to take a picture of, he was big. I took a picture of one years ago, and that picture is in MySpace, lost forever. And it was at a real ritzy place, and one of the doctors that owned out there that lived in Dallas asked me if he could have a copy of that picture because he wanted to blow it up for his office. And stupid me just sent it to him. That's the second time I did that with a picture. I could have made money off of it. When the torch came through here, a New York magazine called and asked me if they could have a copy of that picture that I took for our newspaper.
I guess having 21 in here is not bad for this being a small one, huh?
Yeah, and the time of day, and
Depending who's on.
we need to
Well,
advertise
pretty
it out.
soon everybody will get knocked off to where you can go on anytime.
True.
Hey, you figure if they're going to get rid of somebody who's got 600,000 or 700,000 subs for stupid stuff, they're going to get rid of other people that are menial, that aren't making the money. They don't mean anything.
Take out the small ones first.
They're
Maybe.
getting better at it. You know, it started with old AJ, you know, and it's just like he said, I'm just the first one. They'll be coming after the rest of you too, and they have been. They improve their little algorithms, update their policies, add some more rules. Anything that's American, including freedom of speech.
Yep. That's what I said. I'm surprised they haven't got me just because of my About page. Because I pretty much put it out there.
Well, they'll get to it. I mean, like I said, I just lost my messenger for 5 days because of a meme I sent 2 years ago in a messenger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hearing people getting strikes for stuff they did a year or two ago as well. So, if they go looking, they're going to find something.
Yeah. They will. 'Cause we've had some pretty intense conversations at times.
Sometimes I wonder if it's not the way that it's said, that maybe they don't catch it on their programming as easily.
People that are
Maybe
petty
it's
can always
even,
find something.
yeah, I don't think they're going to even need a reason. I mean, I've heard of people who get knocked off the platform and they're not even given a reason. Hey, sweet tea.
T
I
girl.
mean,
Hey, Dorinda.
if they own it, I guess they don't really have to tell you if they own it, because it's not like it's public domain. I mean, if it was public domain, they couldn't do that. That right there itself, private entities.
Messenger.
When's you going on, Bonnie? When's your thing? I thought I saw it earlier, 8 or 8:30.
8:30.
What's your title say? I didn't see a notice yet.
What is my title?
You're being awful cryptic.
Now, Debs, now you're a wench with a wrench.
I was typing something. Can't find my mouse.
There's probably a YouTube channel named A Wench with a Wrench. I could almost see that.
My title is Soak Up the Sun.
I would if we had been absent.
Well, when I was at the doctor's office, and it's 80 degrees today and sunny, and my friend went in first, and so I was out there smoking, just standing in the sun, soaking it up, and I was like, hey, that's a song.
Is it, what's her name? Did a duet with Kid Rock.
Sheryl Crow.
Yes.
Of course, I can't play that one.
I guess one thing that happens when we get copyright stuff, it don't go against us. It just pays somebody else. Well, at least somebody's getting paid, I guess. And I'm just afraid that too many of those stack up that they can use that against you too.
Yeah. Can you imagine that job?
You know,
Can you imagine that job? Who do I want to pick on today? Let's see.
oh, you mean being a TROLL?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've tried to imagine that actually. I've tried to imagine what the motives are, what the mechanisms behind it, and who endorses it. I mean, because I've learned some stuff that I won't mention here, but I mean, there's actually groups set up for it. And the more you learn about it, the more questions I have.
Yep. Thank you, T girl.
I don't know. This is last couple of years have been kind of weird. You know, I got on this platform to share info. You know, because of what was going down, and without that, it's not what I was here for. I wasn't here to socialize. I wasn't here to, you know, I do now. It was unforeseen, but I was here to find out what the heck was going on in this country.
That's
And now
what
it
I
seems like there's not a lot of that going on anymore. There used to be a lot of it. There used to be a lot of people on that mission.
looks like everyone's seen it all. We know it all. But now the question is, what do we do about it all?
We made all mistakes.
It's so much.
Yeah, I mean, we keep hearing about what they've been doing, so they're going to arrest him. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Probably haven't even seen it all, but still, it feels like it. It's like a overload.
Well, I just get the feeling it's going to get worse. You know, I mean, not saying that it'll never get better, but it's going to get worse first.
Yeah.
What's up, Kiss Off?
Uh-oh.
What's uh-oh? Did he knock himself out?
Oh, okay. There we go. No. Tracking my mom, and they've still got her at the hospital. Hopefully they didn't keep her, but kiss off. I can say it on checks. Kick ass.
Say it with Z's. That way you're not even swearing. Kick ass. What's up, kick ass?
If I said it on mine, just plain as day. Oops.
Well, if I really want to let it go, you just got to switch some letters up. Because you can really let somebody have it going, you father mucking bun of a sitch. You see? And I didn't swear it off.
Yep. I remember I got my ass beat as a kid for jacking around playing like that. Dad heard me say, "Chuck, you Farley, you ain't some mucking fudge," and I got my ass beat for it. He goes, "I know what you meant." He's like, "Keep saying that, you'll mess up."
That's probably why I got away with so much, is I didn't have a dad after I was 3.
I rarely see Mighty with a truck driver. He was gone so much. There's plenty of times Mom said he'd come through in the middle of the night, was in town. He'd come in and she'd cook him dinner. He'd sleep 4 or 5 hours and get up and leave again.
Then 9 months later, you'd have a little brother or something.
I was the only one. I don't know. I guess that's part of the reason, I guess.
You was an only child?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
shit got broke around the house, whether I did it or not. I got my ass beat for it.
Well, I can relate with that because my sister was 12 years older than me, you know, so it was pretty much I was a only kid.
If a window somehow got broke or a knick-knack fell, or
Well, that's just it, Chuck. Even though I might have got away with a lot, I also got blamed for a lot of stuff I didn't do. So it evens out.
yeah, and that QC stuff, like I'm way over here and you're over there now. Mom could have been a baseball pitcher. Coffee cup, ashtray, shoe. Was who tall, T? My dad. I think he was 6'2", 6'3", maybe. Somewhere around 6'2", 6'3", I think, and about 200, 220 most of his life till he got cancer, and he got before he died, he's down to 120 pounds.
Timmy stuck in the well.
Yeah. Go get the sheriff.
That's such an obscure reference. Only somebody of our age would get it.
They'd be like, first thing, what's a well? Well of the world?
How come they used to make them so big?
Make what so big?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Oh, well.
Oh,
I mean-
They had to dig them by hand.
well, that's a deep subject. I mean, a well.
Just think about the poor guy once he got down 20, 30 feet. And it was like they pulled the rope up and say, okay, dig more or you don't get no water.
Yeah, I was the youngest, Diana.
As the oldest, everything was my fault.
And if you weren't around, you should have been and all that.
I spend most of my time on my own anyways.
Ah,
Wow, that's messed up. T. I've seen something about one of them here a while back.
Is this recent? That's a recent news story?
I don't know.
I hadn't seen that one.
I
I
saw
did-
something about one the other day and I read part of it. That might be it.
Yeah, I saw one where they were, they didn't, say runaways and stuff, but they said that they were picking up women on this one street of color, some guy, and taking them to a basement. And
Yeah, that one got away. Is that the one that got away and went to the neighbor?
yes, and she had said there were at least 2 others that were dead. But
I did see something about that one. Yeah.
This sounds like a whole lot more. And I think that one was in Missouri. Some around St. Louis.
Sound more suiting if they'd be grabbing people in office and doing that. Not killing them, just molesting them. Maybe that's why Beetlejuice's eyes are bugged out though too.
I've also been thinking about all this supposed intel we've been fed for 3 years now. All this information and all these, well, this is going to happen and then this will happen and here we go right into the midterms. How many days away are we now from
31, 12, 13. I wish I would have known Ridge Runner's family. That would have been a
14 of 16 kids? Those kind of families just blew my mind, man. Being a loner and looking from the outside into that type of thing, I've seen that. And that just was mind-blowing to me. All the bunk beds and stuff and like packs of kids in each room. That was...
Yeah.
I've seen some, I forget, some of my cousins. I want to say it's like second or third cousins on my dad's side. They had like 10 or 11, and I'm like, didn't them people have cards or checkers or something?
Yeah. You know what their pastime was?
Yeah, it's dark.
Real joyful. I don't know. I mean, I'm so sick of it too. I mean, but I don't think it's going to be over by then.
What I think it'll end up being is a bunch of people be amazed. They did it again, and look at this going on and this going on. I'm like, okay, you expected a problem to fix itself?
I see it going one of two ways, Chuck. Let's say the plan was to get the House and the Senate and overwhelmingly take the country back from the bottom up. The red wave. Well, if they pull that off, because they're already cheating like mofos. If they pull that off, the left is going to flip out. If they steal it again, the right is going to stand up. Either way, I just don't see how we're going to get out of this unscathed. I don't. I'm not trying to be a downer or nothing, but man, we knew what happened 2 years ago. How are we just going to, if it happens again right in front of our faces? I think people are gonna snap.
the one that I haven't seen it ain't gonna see it anymore than a blind dog.
You got garbly. What's that, Chuck?
I said the one that they still don't see it will never see it, just about like a blind dog.
Well, that's going to be the problem. Either way, it's going to be a problem. And that may be why they're being over vigilant at the boxes, which is understandable. But then you got the enforcement taking them away. So it's kind of where you would think that they would already be sending out NG or somebody, especially into the cities.
I think if it was any other country, the military would be supervising the election.
Yes.
Hey, Sharon.
Yep, Bridge Runner. That would be something if they sided up with us. How on earth in history ever could a group like that get a street named after them in the capital area?
All the wrong people in the right places.
Yep.
Strategically selected and appointed in for years and years.
Kiss up, I went to the doctor and pat his fat belly when he hugged me.
One just wanted his shirt.
Yeah. It was a cool shirt. Could have made a pillow cover out of it.
Could have wore it like a trench coat too, huh?
Yeah. He's a pretty big man.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, NC, is, we see more and more of what they've done and what they're doing. So they're going to go arrest, Mr. T. They get away with it as they search for something we did wrong. There's two completely different levels there. There is a double standard from hell. There is what there is.
What? Chuck, you see what Sharon said?
Well, that's not a bad
No,
thing. There
I've,
are others.
I've heard they
They're
have
probably training.
China owns stuff here, a lot of land close to bases is what I heard.
Japanese are actually, in World War II, we demilitarized them. And then it became our responsibility to protect them. And then over the years, they become less reliant upon us, but they're still our allies.
Holy cow, Kissoff. You should have told us so we could cash out money for everyone to get one.
Yeah, I
Wait,
thought you were going to tell my joke there for a minute, Bonnie. They killed my first turkey this year and scared the shit out of everybody in the frozen section at Walmart. I need to get one. I'm telling a lot of people, you better get it as soon as you see it, or they probably won't be there.
I won't get them from the big stores. Oh. Of course, I don't know where any turkey farms are here anymore either.
Hell, at that rate, it's probably cheaper now. You can buy a goose or ducks or something. I looked last year. I thought about doing a goose. That shit was like
No shortage of wild turkey in Michigan.
Really?
Really. I mean,
They took all of ours. We were pretty mad about that.
I like wild turkey with Coke.
yeah. I used to like Coke till I was the wrong color.
Yep. I bought some the other. They couldn't find RC because they're not stuck on things like that. And they didn't have it, so I grabbed. They had dollar store had buy 2 Cokes get 1 free, and come home and Vicky, you bought Coke? I'm like, yeah, I don't drink it. And she just looked at me.
If I was to buy it, it would be that original with the real sugar in it.
Yeah, the glass bottles, you can find them every now and then at like dollar stores and stuff. Them come out of Mexico City, Mexico.
But I like burners. I like to keep burners around in case I need it. I don't hardly drink any pop. I mean,
I don't either.
I might have had. Tea, so. Yeah, I might have had a couple this year, but that's about it.
I used to be big on Dr. Pepper and quit that shit.
Well, I can remember when that stuff changed. The taste of those pops changed back in the day. They used to remember how good they used to be, ice cold in a glass bottle.
And then they started making them with that damn corn syrup. Remember when Coke come out and they like new Coke? Everybody's like, okay, everybody else did something else.
You got all garbly again. It might be just me, but I couldn't hear a word you just said.
I was talking about back in the 80s when they came out with new Coke. Remember when that happened?
Yeah. And they complained until they went back and called it the original flavor, which I still don't think was the original flavor.
They changed it back, I think, but kept it with that corn syrup in it.
As I'm finishing my Sprite.
Which I need to go back to the original recipe and leave this corn, the real cane sugar and the real cocaine in it.
Yeah.
It used to be Like
3.5 grams of cocaine per bottle, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Goodness.
that ought to get you bouncing.
I wonder everybody's
In
dick.
the 80s, it was $100 a gram. That's 3.5 grams in a bottle. Are you kidding me? They'd be bouncing off the walls. No wonder they got famous fast.
Yeah. It's energizing or something like that. It used to say on the little sign.
I don't know. I don't know what that does to you. I know a friend was slipped some and she was totally freaking out, and I had to stay with her all night. And
It makes you high strung, and it's kind of like way too much caffeine, sort of.
so
I
it
don't
makes your
need to
heart
know
go like,
because all my life I've been hyperactive, or what they would call hyperactive, if they call it hyperactive when I was hyperactive. I don't have any problem with energy, you know? So if I was to do something like that, I probably would be swimming to Europe or something.
Yeah, I can fly.
Yeah. I don't need an upper. The last thing in this world I need is an upper. Besides coffee, I do need that.
yeah, I don't know why none of my kids got hyper. None of my grandkids got hyper. Maybe the next one. I need a hyper person in my life. Take up some
Well,
of the.
I'm kind of old now, Bonnie. I'm not as hyper as I used to be, but looking back,
Hmm.
I didn't want to sit still for nothing when I was younger.
Oh, I couldn't.
Yeah, Carl, I think they might run you off if you started hanging off the counters and the stuff in the store, hanging off the shelves. And
Yeah, that was me. I could do the balance beam between two countertops and stuff. That is me, Chuck. That's exactly what I was like.
picture yourself in the middle of one of the grocery stores just dancing around somebody's buggy, looking at them going, "Nah, nah, nah, nah."
Hey, I did that.
Yeah, they give us a single round padded room now.
My kids used to get on to me all the time for singing and dancing in the store.
Well, at least I directed it. Like, if you had a tunnel, let's go. If you had a tower to climb, let's go. If you had, some acreage to walk, let's go. At least I used it. I did a lot of that kind of stuff.
She's good kiss off. She's sleeping here on the couch, or was. She corrected me on who Ted Nugent and how they were related, sort of. It was her aunt's brother.
Yeah, I think that's why I was a waitress for so long, because I just couldn't sit still. So my grandmother taught me how to crochet, thinking that would, at least my hands would be busy. But I could only sit there for about 30 minutes or so, and okay, put it down. I gotta go do something.
That you remember that guy off that playing like a kid. Look what I can do.
No.
I was a waiter for a while, Bonnie. I never got hit on more in my life during a span of time.
Yeah.
Kiss off. I forgot how to make homemade. Maybe Bonnie knows. Scalloped potatoes. An easy way.
Is it?
Kiss off is asking.
Kiss off, look on YouTube. I'm thinking just.
See if that Charlie guy I watched got a thing on it.
You better tell me. Okay, the easy way would be just to slice potatoes and boil them about halfway and then put butter and milk, cheese if you're going to have cheese, bacon. I don't know what all you put on your scalloped potatoes. I know how I like mine, and I like them with the everything. Green
I
onions.
like I like them burned. I mean, browned, almost burned.
Yeah,
You got to do them in a Pyrex glass dish to do that, though.
yes. That's what I bake everything in. Pyrex. It's up to you. I skin
If
them.
you can make scallop potatoes crispy, then I know you know what you're doing. Because that's not something everybody can do.
Here,
In fact,
what?
a lot of the scallop potatoes I've had aren't even done. They're like hard in the middle.
There you go, Kiss Off. Watch hers. I don't know how
Mm,
fast it'd be or easy, but
It's like they slice them too thick or something.
yeah.
So you all see Bushcraft's video today about the Mississippi drying up?
What Dorinda's answer? Slices. I've been hearing about the Mississippi River driving up, drying up.
Guess they closed it now.
here's another one. I like both of them ladies cooking, and I could look more, but a lot of them will go into detail. Maybe, let me see if he's got a fast version.
There's one called Rose something. Is one of those her? Or that Hillbilly Kitchen?
Yeah, Hillbilly Kitchen's one of them I put up there.
Yep.
The other one is that Collard Valley Cooks.
My favorite cook to watch on YouTube is Ark Wildman.
Mm-hmm.
Show you how to make them in a can.
His canteen cup. I use one every day too. I'm very partial to it. I'm thinking about getting a fancy one. They got them with lids now,
Oh wow.
titanium. They cost like $175 with a titanium lid and all this.
Good grief.
I know, but I want one. I might go for one of the stainless steel ones first.
I wonder what mine are made out of. Because I know they didn't cost that much.
Well,
I
I
got
got stainless steel Army issue ones, and they did make them out of aluminum, which those don't last as long. But the titanium ones are the ones that were big bucks when I looked at them.
yeah. Well, but you probably use it every day.
I use two of them every day. I used to have more. I sold a couple at that auction.
Yeah, some
They're worth a lot more than they used to be, Bonnie. I should have foreseen that and bought a trailer load of them back in the day.
yeah. We all have a lot of shouldas.
Yeah.
If we knew then what we know now.
Right?
I just bought a couple for emergency if needed.
The Army had two versions. One's a loose wire type handle, and they're noisy. They clang around. But there's another style that the handle locks in place, and those are the ones that are nice. No tinkle tink in the woods that gives away your location, you know? In fact, that noise, that's the
Yeah.
wire handle. I guess you could say I've been field testing a canteen cup for like 25 years. I've been using this one. Still works fine.
Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only ones I see. Interestingly enough, because I don't know how detailed they are. I've never looked at it. Cowboy Kent Rollins did a thing on what do they call that stuff with mashed potatoes put on top of it, shepherd's pie. I want to try that. And the other day he did one on chicken and dumplings. I want to try it. Everything he puts on fire, I'd probably screw it up trying to do it like he does on a stove.
I've had some good shepherd's pie.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the stuff he makes, Carl, if you've got a Dutch oven for cooking out over fires and you trivet.
Oh yeah, you told me about that one with the concave lid, so you can put coals. Or
He'll put around the lip of everything he cooks, and he puts a row of coals around the lip, and then a ring of them around the bottom, and has that trivet that holds it up about 6 inches. Pizzas, cakes, cobbler.
You need the only problem with that is the weight of all that stuff. That cast iron adds up quick.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's why everything he's got is basically he does it in one cast iron skillet. He does a lot of his stuff in, and then the other thing is that Dutch oven, and the rest of it, he knows how to cook them, and them things are seasoned well.
Kiss off, shepherd's pie is a meat pie.
Where do you live?
Shepherd's pie is like they used originally supposed to be lamb, but it's basically hamburger and peas and carrots and a gravy like with it, and then you put mashed potatoes over the top of them. Some of them put cheese or whatever, and then you roast it. Mashed potatoes get stiffer and get kind of a crust on top.
Yep. You can top it with cheese if you want to.
Yep.
Okay, that's the only time I will eat mashed potatoes with ketchup meat.
Because it comes that way, huh?
It's a shepherd's pie. Yep. Yes.
But I'll sit here some of these days, and I know how to cook stuff, but I'll watch somebody else how they cook it, and then I'll look at about 4 or 5 other shows how they do it, and I'll pick highlights of what I like and how they do different things, and try to put it all together and improve on it. I'll do that, all that stuff except dressing. When I make dressing, I make it just like my grandma did. I don't change none of it.
Well, that's what I do. All my recipes are from my grandmother, and she made shepherd's pie. She made porcupine balls. She made meatloaf, pinto beans with every meal, no matter what.
Always a pan of cornbread, a thing of biscuits, and with every meal, like you're talking about, and beans.
Yeah. Well, she would just get the sliced bread, or No, we never made homemade bread with her. It was when I moved out I started making everything homemade bread. And
that woman would start cooking breakfast at 4 in the morning, and she'd start off with frying a chicken first. Once the chicken was in the pot, then she'd start making biscuits. She'd make fried corn. I don't know if you guys ever had that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee hillbilly thing, kind of like cream corn, but it's different. They fried in an iron skillet.
Oh, we had corn pawns.
And then it was kind of cream corn, kind of, it cooks reduced, but it's sweet. It's hard to describe. It's hillbilly stuff, I guess, best way to describe it. And then she'd have bacon and sausage, and she'd make fried eggs and scrambled eggs, and there'd be bunches of biscuits, and she'd make gravy. And that we're going to eat off that all day, and then we'll figure out what we want for dinner. I'm like, you don't need to make dinner with all this. She goes, well, anything left, like biscuits and the chicken, that'll go for in the morning. I said, but you'll make another chicken by then. She goes, I don't have any faith on that chicken lasting. So people come over, and you'd see people walk in the kitchen. They're coming out with a saucer, with a biscuit and a piece of chicken.
Yes. Yep. The neighbors would always come over, and
This one have a peas with a biscuit or cornbread. And yeah, I think you're talking about second, third cousins come by. And
yes. Like Pappy was saying the other night, you always offered food and a drink.
yep. Hell, when I was there, the mailman brought her something up to the door, and he came in and ate breakfast with her. This is like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you guys are making me hungry.
Hey, Penny Pinson. You know what? I could smell her food sitting here talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Y'all remember when I said I smelled the cologne?
Yeah.
My granddaughter said, because I was telling her about it, or she heard me something, she said when she walked out to the car, she could smell it. And I said, then I want you to keep your eyes open, because that's just weird.
Didn't you say it smelled like somebody else's cologne that you knew or something?
Well, I'm not sure, but I mean, when you dance all your life, you're kind of used to smelling a lot of different colognes. And my grandfather wore Old Spice. It wasn't Old Spice that I was smelling. It was more like Stetson, I think.
Pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been weird times through my life. My mom would say the same thing, that it almost feels like my dad was watching. No one knows that look and the feeling you get like you're screwing up, and you know one of your parents sees you, or just something's wrong, and you know you're being watched or whatever. I get that feeling, and I'd always smell my dad. Like he'd get out of the shower, and when he'd come into the living room, he could smell it. He'd put a little bit of Old Spice or whatever it was after he shaved.
Well, my mind's going in a whole different direction. I'm thinking that somebody's stalking out my house. Because if she's smelling it outside by the car, and I'm smelling it right next to my bedroom window.
I think you need to go to your mama's and bring something back over there and walk around with it in the house and play with it, and let them, if they're looking in.
Oh, I have a toy or two here.
How close are your neighbors?
Closest one is well, I don't know how to guess yards or maybe
The one thing that most people don't keep in mind, Bonnie, is you keep the lights on in your house at night, people can see in. You keep the lights on outside and the lights low inside, and you can see out.
Yep. I got lights on all four corners around here on my house, and then the street lights and stuff. And everybody's like, why you got it so lit up over there? I said, because I don't want to have to pop nobody in the back.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Almost 7. That when it was when it's like a ball field around there, people tend to not want to wander. Pretty much anywhere except one corner of the front porch. It's not lit up like the rest. You can walk around the house and read a book.
Yeah, my porch light doesn't reach very far. We do have a street light that's it's a good ways away. It doesn't shine in my yard or anything. And then that's all the lighting around my house. Oh,
I got
like
one
that's
of the old power company street lights out here up in a tree that comes on at dark, and then I got one you can buy that's almost like that out on the front corner on the opposite side of the house.
That's what I wanted to do, but I knew I was going to end up moving.
They'll teach. Well, some people, they used to teach this in, neighborhood watch type situations and stuff. But if you have bushes or a latticed porch that opens or something that people can hide in or behind, they'll use that. So the idea is to not give anybody a place to hide on your area that you wouldn't see. Like if the bushes are too grown up by the windows or something, it'll provide somebody a place they could hunker down and hide from headlights or something. But other than that, set up where you can put little sand paths or something where you would see somebody's footprints if they were there, or even take some old tin cans and tie them up in a bush with a string that goes across the trail to where if something taller than a few foot tall went through, it would ring all those cans in the bush.
Yeah.
That or have a 30-year-old son that lives with you when he lets the 2 German Shepherds out. He's out there, get the fuck up here.
That works too. But there's ways that if somebody's going to, case your place, they're going to know when you let them out and when they're in, and they'd use that too. But if you don't have dogs, there's other ways of knowing.
See, and that's what's changed is we had the 2 dogs, and their yard is humongous, and so that covered the whole back of the house where there's no light, and the one side where there's no light. But now he passed away, and I'm keeping her inside and just take her out front walking. But so now they're not out there to warn me because I can tell by their bark what it was. If it was an animal, if it was a lawnmower. They hate lawnmowers. Motorcycles. They hate motorcycles.
Those dollar store motion detector lights are pretty good.
Yeah, them little $8 ones.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my list. I thought I was going to be out of here a lot quicker, but
Go up the shelter or find somebody giving away a noisemaker you keep outside.
yeah. See, that's all the things I was going to do at my mother's. Lines and stuff.
Get you a donkey.
Yeah, and that too.
You ain't never heard nobody holler till a donkey sneaks up on them and bites.
And I tried to keep it where there wasn't any place to hide, but there's a lot. The girls don't think like I do.
No, the younger people think I'm crazy.
I know. You're too paranoid. Well, I told y'all that story about the Riverwalk and everybody thinking I was too paranoid. I know when somebody's sneaking up on me.
Yep.
I don't
Okay,
call it being paranoid. I call it being aware.
yes, that's what I call it. I'm a kidnap Ridge Runner. Y'all hear that?
Yeah, me and him were talking that one day, and some of my family names and stuff in my family are in his. See, but I
Never really know who's related to who, do you?
and he's up there in some of the last names and maiden names and stuff like that. Me and him were talking. He's heard in his family knows of.
That's one thing I
I
have not.
traced. Go ahead, Bonnie.
I'm sorry. I haven't seen a name like any of my family in any of the chats.
You know, spelling too is by interpretation. You can be spelled like James, or both of them could be spelled yours, or they could be been completely different. A lot of the way people spelled it was by sound.
I know I can trace my great 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 grandfather all the way back to 1706 in North Carolina. So there could be a lot of us that are related we don't even know.
Mine went back to that, and both sides. I think both sides. Anyway, I know it was one side were in
I
the
can look.
Revolutionary War, and they went to Kentucky, got land from it at the time, and some of them even went to the Alamo and died there.
Mine were from one of the Carolinas. I can't remember north or south because I didn't get the letter. But um, the two great, great, well, a great great grandfather and a great great uncle, I guess it would be, came from there to fight at the Alamo. And we've been in Texas ever since.
I got a buddy of mine I grew up with that lived over here by me, and I still talk to him now. Me and him were researching back, and some of my kinfolk and his kinfolk went with Davy Crockett, and them left to go to the Alamo.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was at the time. I think me and Jeff were talking about it.
Tico, really? How do y'all find that out that far back?
Some of these
Well,
sites you go
in
to.
some, yeah, they did it with tombstones and family lineage on mine. But that's as far as I got.
I mean, I hear stories or heard stories, and then, but the farthest of the family tree is what I just said with the great great grandfather and then on my father's side, it's really hard to get information there because the the great grandmothers were Choctaw. They, for some reason, were embarrassed about it, and so they denied it.
Yeah, I was looking in some of the records, couldn't find it. I found out from other people, a lot of the Tennessee, any people that had Indian heritage all there, they had a lot of courthouse burnings and stuff, and they burned all them records way, way back.
Yes.
I was looking up my family tree here a while back, and some monkey threw shit at me. Just joking.
And yeah, I never did the ancestry or any of that because
I need you.
I was told actually you don't want to do that right now.
that's exactly why. And so then somebody told me to go through a Mormon church. They can find people that nobody else can.
Yeah, they might want your bloodline too.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know nothing about my mom's side or my dad's side.
I know they try to go back 300 years to save to save the souls of 300 years back.
I've heard out of Tennessee where mine was Cherokee and Blackfoot. I don't know which one or if it was both. I know my great grandfather's wife, which was my grandfather's mom, was supposed to be all Indians.
I know they changed my dad's last name because they couldn't pronounce it when they moved over here to the States. That's about all I know.
Yep. Well, and that's my great grandmother family. My grandmother said they were Scottish, but somewhere along the line, they were supposed to be related to the guy that got beheaded and changed their name. So I don't know.
If you got North Carolina or South North Carolina, probably if you got that and Scotch Irish, you might have some people out of my mind drew a blank.
That were on the ship.
Yeah, the people live in the mountains up there.
Oh,
I can't think of the name of them. There's a lot of them Scotch Irish over there that left Ireland.
the Appalachian.
Huh?
Appalachians.
Yeah, Appalachian people. That's where I'm thinking of mine from. We got, I don't know what's in some of the traces back. I have to go back and look again to see who was what.
Well, my line is kind of proof that the Scottish and the Cherokee mingled.
Mm-hmm.
I know my great grandfather, they didn't put his father's name on his birth certificate or whatever from back then. His name wasn't mentioned, so he took the last name of his mother. I can't remember what it was now.
I like the first name of my great 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 grandfather is buried there at the base of the Cherokee National Forest, really there in North Carolina. His stone still stands there, but I liked his first name, Zebedee.
Oh, yeah.
I think what's his name, Grandpa Walton was Zebediah or something like that, wasn't it?
That's wild names back then.
My great grandfather Rufus, and they said that was a big name back in them days.
What was it?
Rufus.
Rufus.
Yeah, my grandfather's Claude.
There's an Eston. Some weird names in the past. When you get into the 1800s, you get some real biblical names too.
Mm-hmm.
You might be, NC.
you doing? What? Got a cat looking at me like I owe him money.
Sometimes you might want to pay attention.
He's wondering if you got any of that stuff out again.
He didn't like that.
No.
Yeah, I wish you could find more information on their lives. He was born in 1706 and lived to 1786. And then his sons moved. He went from North Carolina to Missouri to Texas. And that's where my mom came from, was born and raised in Texas. There'll be a lot more information on our lives left behind than there was on them.
Maybe if they don't get rid of it all.
Yeah, right, if it survives.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now to see if I can tell everybody where I used and where they can look. There's so many other people that add stuff into it. And I would only add stuff to
Sometimes you can find out a whole lot without having to pay for it or add any information you don't want to share. Just by doing vigilant searches on the internet. You might find an old chat or something where somebody was relinquishing information about your family line that you can, I mean, because there'll be multiple people doing it. So you could find a network and find out a lot about your family history that way.
Oh.
Just got to know some names, some places of birth, and, you know, some general information. And if you, under a name you can't find nothing, try adding the word obit or obituary or, you know, founding or anything like that. As you add to a search, you may get to a more specific file in some court records or maybe a town hall or something. You never know. You can find a lot on the internet.
Deb, that NC Debs. I think I showed that video where they were putting something in the water up there in New York. Or I think it was New York or Canada. Close enough.
Sleep too much.
Yeah, T-girl. My family paid a lawyer to trace down the native heritage, and the lawyer took off with the money and any information that he got. So we didn't get it. If he did get any.
He probably didn't. He probably just took the money and ran.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, take the money and run.
That's where I learned. Don't ever pay for anything up front. Show me the work. Can't go to any job and get paid.
No.
Oh, I get down payments. Yes, I do.
Well, if you have to get materials, I can understand that. But I'm talking if you just go to any, work in a restaurant or a store, you're not going to get paid walking in the door.
Well, it's just like the lesson you learned. I've learned never to start a big job without getting a good down payment.
Yep.
Or get paid as you go.
Yeah, even that. Shit.
Well, that's when we were building our house. It was quarterly payments. Like they got a quarter when they started, and then once that passed inspection, then they got another quarter.
Yeah, when I was working for myself and I'd come in and tell people what they wanted, I'd give them a quote on how much. I'd have them sign a paper that it was going to be at least this much, and it was all on there that said that this is how much it's going to be, especially on vehicles. And if they come to me with them, the vehicle stayed with me.
Excuse me.
That it was if
I
it
do.
come into more stuff, it would be add on, but it's going to be at least that. And
You got to, man. I got to do the same stuff.
basically, whatever I was working on, if they didn't pay me, become a forfeiture of asset. And they didn't want me to pull something against and put it on their house because they sign off on it. Let's see, here it is. Maybe it ain't. Family search and thinking. Let's see if that was it. I don't know. This ain't the same thing I was looking at, so I'm at the wrong one.
You must be turning away from that microphone or something.
I'm talking under my breath to myself. I'm trying to find that site to tell everybody where to look. It was a paid place, but you also can do it for free. It's just harder.
You mean for finding information on people, on ancestry?
Yeah, genealogy
Well,
stuff.
there's another thing. There's things called people searchers, and there's all kinds of websites designed on locating people. And if you have like some of their places that they've lived or their age, and all you do is you just keep adding to a list of information you can find of somebody, and it will lead you to places. There is old chat boards and stuff. You'll find that have people talking about it, and you know you can find out a lot without having to pay for it. Is all I'm saying. You just gotta do a lot of groundwork.
Ancestry. Let's see. I did a search in my email for it. Let me hit that and see what. Yeah, my great grandmother, want to tell you, was Indian. Her first name was Permelia, Permelia.
I've heard that name before.
Permelia Milam. That's the one that was supposedly all Indian.
Hmm. Well, Chuck, I think I'm going to get down and make me some dinner.
Yeah, I'm fixing to close up. Bonnie's going to go on here soon.
Yep.
Thanks for having me up here. I'll see you all and chat somewhere soon, I'm sure.
We'll see you later, bud.
Take care, Carl.
I got in there now just to find the tree.
You got him where? I missed it.
The name of the Ancestry.com. You can do all kinds of stuff on there and see trees, and you can get in with so many other people and do it for free.
Yeah. I won't do that.
You will or won't?
No, won't.
I'm gonna find how far back. Boy, come on, let's get you something going. Get my damn feet so I get Yeah, my great grandfather, when I tell you, don't have the same last name as me. His daddy was named Grimes. I went back so damn far in this here a while back.
Yeah.
That's going deep in, and now that I open it up, that's probably where I'll be digging around till you go live. Well, hell, y'all, we got down to 11 other people coming up. Love y'all. Close this one out. Y'all be safe. Take care. Do something for yourself. Bye.
See y'all later, everybody.